What's up, guys? It's TruthTiger, and I'm going to talk about why your love scares the crap out of people. A lot of people are scared and intimidated by you, but you don't even know it. And especially when you're not making mean faces, you're not, you're not coming at people like that. You're being very loving. You're being very kind. You're trying to be as nice as you can be. You're being very real. You're being very honest. You're being very upfront. You're being very straightforward. You're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that. You're not trying to get over on people. And that energy, just that true, loving, good, positive kind of energy, it scares the hell out of people. It really will. I mean, people will really get real scared of you. And I'm going to explain the reason why. For one, people really depend on you for emotional support. People really want you to like them, especially when you're a kind, loving person. People really want you to like them, and people do not want you to disapprove of them. And a lot of people are very scared that they will lose you. And you can hurt people so bad without even knowing it. I didn't even realize this, but I was just thinking about this, and I realized that I could hurt people so bad just by walking away, or by not approving of people, or by being like, nah, I'm not gonna mess with that energy, or by being like, nah, I don't want to hang out anymore. That hurts the crap out of people. And the thing is, if I was not a loving, positive, kind person, if I wasn't rocking with God, doing the right stuff, on my love, on my positivity, on my kindness, if I wasn't on that, they wouldn't care that much. That wouldn't bother them that much. But they know that you stand on good moral ground. They know that you stand on the good ground of truth. And they need your love and your energy and your positivity. It gives them fuel, and it empowers them. And when you say no and turn your back on them and reject them and are like, nah, sorry, this is the wrong energy for me, I can't do this, it really trips them out, because they had a little taste of love, a little taste of kindness, a little taste of positivity, and then once they've had that taste of it, they can't lose it. Losing it really, really trips them out. Losing it really, really freaks them out, and we can really break a lot of hearts. We can break a ton of hearts because people really depend upon us. And the thing is, we do show genuine love. We show genuine love and genuine kindness and genuine care and, genuine affections and, just all that kind of stuff. All that type of stuff. And, walking away from people, it's like they really will, whether it's in a romantic sense or just in a friendly sense, people really will grow to love us a lot and will grow to need us a lot. But the problem is hateful people do not want to feel or express love. It's a very scary thing for them. It's not the energy source that they operate upon. They operate on a fuel source of hatred, jealousy, fear, doubt, shame. That's the fuel source that they operate on. And when you come with love, that is an opposition to the fuel source in their heart. That opposes their heart so much. And it's a kind of energy that freaks them out, because they're going to have to display vulnerability around you. Even just saying hi, having a simple conversation, that's too much vulnerability to expose for most people. They have to open up and just be real, and that freaks them out. And the thing is, a lot of times they would rather deal with other haters, because those other haters can't hurt them when they walk away. It's not going to really hurt them so bad when they lose a hater in their life. It's actually a good thing to lose a hater in your life, but it's that's the kind of energy they can relate to, number one. And number two, it's haters operate on a hater frequency. They're always arguing putting shame and guilt on each other. They're always being negative, complaining, whatever. Haters operate with that hater kind of energy, and it's what they're used to. And when you come to them with something different, they also kind of know that you're not going to accept their hater stuff. They know that they have to kind of come with more of an A game. They can't just be their usual hater self, or you're not going to deal with them. You're going to walk away. You're going to reject it. You're going to say, nah, I don't need to deal with hater energy, So that's like, it throws them off big time. It throws them off huge when you have this different kind of energy of love. And they can't handle it. They can't handle it. A lot of times they will be very suspicious of you. I've had a lot of people act real suspicious of me when I'm just trying to be cool. Just trying to say, hey, how's your day going? Hey, I hope you have a good day, just basic friendliness. And I could see a lot of these people, they will turn their noses up at me. They will not even look at me. And it's just like, hey, I'm just trying to be positive, polite, just trying to have good energy here. That's all. But that kind of good energy, it freaks them out, It freaks them out. And again, it makes them feel very like they want to just close up and shell up more. They do not want to express love in any capacity. They don't, because that requires them to have vulnerability. That requires them to self-reflect. That requires them to be honest. And most people are not 100. Most people are putting up a front. Putting up a front that's like, I don't need anybody. Putting up a front that's like, they're too cool for school. They put up this ego front, this ego projection in front of them, because on the inside, they are very, very, very weak and very, very insecure. And, when you're coming at them with true energy, they got to be real about stuff. They can't really match your realness with fakeness. It's not going to work, You're going to see through it. You're going to see through it. So, you really threaten their ego projection. You threaten it big time. You threaten up this false ego self they put up that's, cool and is a victim a lot of the times. A lot of people's ego projections do involve victimhood, but they have this whole ego BS they put up, and you threaten that big time. And not only that, but they know that you'll see through their facade. They know the facade is not going to work on you. The truth that you have will hammer right through their fake ego BS. Will hammer through it. It'll cut right through it like butter. And their whole ego projection, their whole false self that they have been projecting into the world will be destroyed by you. And you won't even really try. And the weird thing about this is you're just being nice and honest and normal, respecting people's boundaries, being polite, trying to be helpful. And it's the weirdest thing. It's like, it will really terrify them. It will really terrify them. And they do not want to have any kind of dependence on you. Having any kind of dependence on another person, even just a small thing like someone you like to talk to, a friend you like to talk to, small thing, but any kind of dependence, it freaks them out, it freaks them out bad. And the worst thing you can do to them is walk away. When you walk away, they cannot recover from it, and they never will recover from it. It will break them. It will break them bad. And all you're doing is just saying, hey, you're not really treating me well. Too much drama, too much negativity, too much fakeness. I'm going to go do something else. And that just destroys them. They'd rather you cuss them out, and stoop down to their level. That's the thing, is you're not going to stoop down to their low level. You're not going to get down in the dirt with them. You're going to stay standing up tall. You're going to stay standing up tall and high above that stuff. And, you know, they know that they can't drag you into their negativity. They know they can't drag you into their negative way of being, way of moving, and way of existing. And, you know, that really kills them the most, when you're just honest and straightforward and you're just normal about stuff. You know, they'd rather you scream at them, cuss them out, get really angry, lose your temper, because now you've weakened yourself. Now they know that you're able to operate on their level, and that makes them feel like safer around you. Like, he freaks out too. All right, he's one of us, you know. But if you just stay strong and keep standing tall and keep, you know, having good emotional control and good self-control, and you just know who you are, you know, you're not going to get pulled down into that. And they'll try to pull you down into it, and they'll want to, but you're just going to be like, nah, you're not going to pull me down. You're not going to drag me down. I'm going to keep standing up tall, keep standing up high, and yeah, you know. And the fact that you have self-esteem and self-respect, and you have a good sense of yourself as an individual, and you're not like all, I don't know how to say it, like codependent. You're someone who's able to, you know who you are. You're not looking for outside validation. It's not a fuel source for you. You're just cool with who you are. That freaks them out even more, because they know they can't control you. Really, I mean, when they know that you have good self-esteem and you know who you are, and you're not going to fall into drama or BS, and you're just going to stay solid, and you don't need everyone to like you, you're just cool with who you are, that freaks them out bad, because they can't play their little games where they're going to act like they don't approve of you or criticize you or whatever, and you're just like, yeah, okay, I guess that's what you think. Sure, all right, whatever, you know, and you're just like, just brushing it off and not taking it too serious. And they know they're powerless against you. And the thing about weak, egotistical people is they don't want to display vulnerability. And if they're around someone that they can't control and that they can't manipulate and that they can't drag down, they don't have any other tools to work with. They don't have the tools of love and kindness. They don't have the tools of just like being like, I don't have to control you. You don't have to control me. We'll just sit beside each other and chill. I know people that could do that. It's not everybody though. It's rare. Most people are not like that. Most people have this codependency or interdependency. I don't know what to call it, but most people operate on that level. And when you're not operating on that level, they know that you don't really need them either. They know that you can get by all right without them. And man, that really freaks them out, because now they're not needed. And because they operate from a place of hatred and from a place of ego and insecurity, the idea that like, I'm not being forced to hang around you, you're not being forced to hang around me, we don't need each other. There might be some level of dependency where we help each other out here and there, but we don't need each other. There's not a big emotional dependency. We're just able to chill together. And we just do it because we have love and kindness. They don't get that. They're very possessive. They're very controlling. And, you know, they're insecure to the point to where they hate themselves so much to where they can't really get that people would just be cool with each other without being tied down, without being trapped, stuck, without being dependent, without being freaking stapled together and tied together to where neither one can escape. They don't get that. They don't get that at all. You know, they're so insecure and they hate themselves so much that they think the only way to have a bond or a companionship or a connection is to, you know, have it be in an emotional sense to where you and that other person are tied together, or you have that other person tied down to where they can't escape or whatever, because they can't conceive of someone just on their own free will wanting to hang out with them, wanting to spend time with them, wanting to be positive. They can't really conceive of that. And you know, they know that that kind of chill friendship, chill relationship, whatever, where there's not a ton of dependency, where both people are just allowed to be themselves, you know, they need control. And without control, they feel like you will just walk away, run away, or you would never even want to be around someone like them. And in a lot of cases it's true, because they're nasty people, and that is the only way they could have bonds and connections, is through manipulation, and they're all just pulling on each other's chains 24/7. That's what it really is with haters. They're just pulling each other's chains. Just, they all got each other on these leashes and chains. They're just yanking each other around. That's not how I rock. I stay free with it, you know? I stay free with it. I stay chill with it. You can be you, I can be me, and we can chill together. It's fine, you know? But to them, they're too insecure. They don't think that they are worthy of that kind of friendship or relationship or connection. And hey, maybe they are unworthy. Maybe a lot of them, most of them, they got to work on themselves more. They got to level up. They got to have more self-esteem, more love and kindness. And they don't want to do that work. They don't want to do the work to have more self-esteem or more love and kindness, because it's going to involve them looking at themselves in the mirror and saying, wow, I'm flawed. Wow, I made a lot of mistakes. Wow, I had the wrong idea about stuff. Wow, I was confused. Wow, I lack knowledge. Wow, I'm flawed and I'm not perfect. And I've had to look myself in the mirror, and it's hard. It's not fun. That's not a fun process. And, you know, that's a process that will completely melt and destroy their ego. And they know that they can't face themselves. They know that they cannot look themselves in the mirror and actually face who they are. So they have to keep deluding themselves with more ego BS, with more lies to themselves. And when they hang around you, they start to think about, hey, maybe I got to make some changes. Hey, maybe I got to improve some stuff. Hey, maybe I could do better. And they don't want to do that. That's the last thing they want to do. And what they'll do instead is they'll project. They'll start to blame things on you, start to say it's all your fault, start to try to put all their problems on you and say you're the cause of all their problems. That is what they will start to do, rather than to actually look at themselves. And they'll become mean, they'll become critical, and they'll hide behind that mask. They will. But deep down, you're threatening the crap out of it, and it's freaking them out. It's freaking them out very, very bad. And I want to make a point also that showing love to people is vulnerability. You know, like I said earlier, there's an element of vulnerability to that, to take your armor off, and they can't do that. They're too scared to do that. They're too scared to show the ugly thing that is underneath, because they know that there's something weak, there's something ugly, and there's something decrepit underneath. They don't want to show that to you. They want to hide that until the day they die. When really, if they want to change that, they do have to expose that on some level. Expose it to themselves at least, you know, but they do have to take a look at themselves on some level. And they don't want to do that. And one more thing, one last point, is that they know that with your love and kindness comes self-esteem, boundaries, you know. You're not going to just let people treat you any which way. And they know that you will stand up to their BS. They know that you will call them out on their crap. They know that you will walk away from them. And they can't deal with that. They're not mature enough to handle that. So they would rather hang around other haters, you know, and just they make a big hater crew, hate on each other, or try to find someone who is innocent and direct their hate onto someone who is an outsider to their hater crew, whatever it is. But they'd rather stay in the haterade. They'd rather stay swimming in that big pool of haterade, because that is where they are comfortable. You know, making changes and moving toward love and positivity. That's uncomfortable for them. That's real uncomfortable for them. So they'd rather act all dismissive and all weird and, you know, not make new friends and isolate themselves, and they'd rather do all that than actually have to face down who they are, move with love, walk in love, rock with the truth, you know. They'd rather stay in the hater spot. And yeah, like, the thing is, you can hurt them so bad. And I've had experiences with this where I've dealt with these narcissists and stuff, and you know, I'm cool with them at first and trying to be nice and trying to accommodate and whatever. At some point it gets too much, and I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna do my own thing. You do your thing, I'll do mine, it's all good, you know? And just that alone, that makes them feel crushed. That's like throwing an 1,000-pound boulder on their head. And it's like, hey, I'm not like screaming at you, cussing you out. I'm not going crazy. I'm not losing my temper. I'm just being calm and just being like, I'd rather spend time with myself than be around this hate, you know? I'd rather hang around other people, do other things, you know? Be to myself, try to make some new friends, whatever. You know, I'd rather just not be around this. And they get crushed. They get crushed so bad, and they can't like stand losing you, despite treating you so weird. You know, when you walk away, it just freaking destroys them, you know? It destroys them bad. It really does. And that's the thing, is people will get hurt the most by the people that they love the most. Not really that they love the most, but the people who show them the most love are the people who will hurt them the most, because, well, what happens when that love gets pulled back? What happens when that love is like, all right, I'm not just going to give this love to you. You don't appreciate it. You're treating me weird. No, I'm going to pull back and not show it. And they get messed up real bad. And that's why a lot of them are so standoffish and skittish around you. And that's why a lot of them feel so weird and suspicious about you. And that's why a lot of them are just like weird haters with you, you know, because they're desperately terrified that you will see them for who they really are. They're desperately terrified of being vulnerable around you. They're desperately terrified that you will destroy their ego, which you might, without even trying. And that's the last thing I want to say. Final last point is that this isn't something you do intentionally. This is not some manipulative, sneaky jab like they do. You're just being honest and truthful, and it tramples over them, you know? It tramples over them, and it's like, I'm not trying to break your heart. I'm not trying to hurt you at all. Not my intention. I'm just setting boundaries. I'm just saying no. I'm just standing on what I'm standing on. And, you know, I'm just dedicated to bigger, more important things than pleasing people. You know, I'd rather rock with God and make him happy and, you know, be about truth, love, and kindness than be about what you're about. You know, and it's your higher purpose too. The fact that you have a higher, bigger, greater purpose, and you're not just about the world and pleasing people and whatever, just being about what everybody else is doing, that freaks them out. Because again, it's like you're not dependent on them. You know, I'm dependent on God, not on man, you know, and again, that's like, they just know that, and I guess I'll say it this way. They know that you don't need them to be happy. They know that. They know that your happiness is not contingent or dependent on them. They know that your sense of self-esteem is not dependent or contingent upon them. They know that, and that terrifies them. That really terrifies them. They know that you're down to just do your own thing, and it's whatever. It's you'll take them or you'll leave them. Either way, I'm good. you know, and that really freaks them out and flips them out. And, you know, and you're not even trying to do it, but now they feel horrible about themselves and they feel all rejected and messed up. And it's like, I said no in the most polite way I could. I set boundaries in the most polite way possible. I was as patient as I could be, you know. I really turned the other cheek as best I could. I did all that. And, you know, they're all messed up about it. They're all messed up that you wouldn't play their games. You wouldn't argue back, you know. When you won't argue back and get angry back and because I've done that before. I've gotten angry back and got dragged into that. But when you won't do that, it's like you have so much power. You know, you're so much more powerful when you don't do that. When you're just like, I'm gonna stay in control of my own emotions and not react to this stuff, and, you know, just keep being me, and I'm not gonna let them drag me down. And, you know, that freaks them out. And, you know, they get their hearts so broken by us, you know, these narcissists and haters. They like don't ever get over us. They get so messed up about us. And it's honestly kind of funny because it's like, you know, that's just a projection of their own lack of self-esteem and their own lack of love, and the fact that they're hateful, especially toward themselves. And it's like, I didn't even do anything. I just was like, sorry, no sale. Sorry, no deal. So I wasn't even like, screw you, I'm not going to be your friend. I'm just like, sorry, I don't really want to hang out. You know, like, just trying to do it as nice as I can. And they get so rejected and so hurt and so just busted up about it. It just messes them up so bad. And it's just like, hey, I don't even want to do that. That's not even what I wanted. I wasn't going for that. I'm just setting the boundaries I need to set. Literally all it is. Just setting a little boundary. Saying no to toxic energy. And yeah, you know, they don't have control over our self-esteem. They do not have control over our sense of self-worth. They don't have control over how we perceive ourselves. They can't gaslight us and play games to distort reality to make us feel bad about ourselves or to make us feel like we're less than. They know that stuff doesn't work on us. And when they start doing it, what do? We pull back. We take a step back. We start to consider if we want this person in our life or not. And, you know, they don't want us going through that mental process. That's the last thing they want, is for us to be like, hey, I don't know if I want to hang out with this person anymore, you know. And again, they have no control over our self-esteem. They have no control over our sense of self-worth. And it's like the tools they have won't even work on us at all. You know, they're evil tools they use to try to attack your self-worth, criticize you, make you feel like you're not good enough, like you're not measuring up, like you're not this and that. They know that you just brush that stuff off and you go, I know who I am. I know who I am. I know what I'm about. I don't care about all that. That's just a bunch of noise. And I've seen them get angry and freak out when I'm like, yeah, whatever. You can say what you want to say. I don't really care, you know. And they know that they're powerless. And I did not even mean to take their power away. Did not even mean to. I just set a boundary and did what was good for me. And was like, nah, I don't need to do all this. Nope. And they get really busted up. And they get badly, badly hurt. They do. And the thing also is that, you know, we hold ourselves accountable. And as such, we hold other people accountable. Not in a mean way, not in a domineering way, but just in a way where we're like, hey, I don't like that. Nope. Sorry, you know. And they can't stand that. They're not used to a world of accountability. They're just used to running around, being an egotistical little brat and getting their way. And they know they're not going to get their way with us. We're not going to buy into their games. We're just going to say, yeah, whatever. Oh, you don't like it? All right, well, sorry. Got to deal with it. You know, you're going to have that attitude, gray rock them, and just be like, yeah, well, whatever, you know. And they know they can't control, they can't get their way, and they know that their scam, their fraudulent life, their fraudulent ego life is being exposed by you. And you see right through it. And you see them for who they really are, and it freaks them out. It freaks them out. And one final point here for the last time is, you know, like, you're one of the only few people who's ever treated them with love, ever treated them with kindness. It's a very rare thing. They've never had that kind of treatment before, so it's just different. It's different, and they don't know how to react to it. And, you know, that positive energy, that love, it just freaks them out. It freaks them out, you know. And you're the only person who's actually made them feel good about themselves. And they're terrified of losing you, of losing the one positive person they've ever had. You know, losing that one positive person they ever had. And to get one little taste of love and kindness and positivity, and then to act weird around you and like overstep your boundaries and criticize you and, you know, like just jump on your back, which a lot of them will do. And then you'll go, nope, don't need this. And then they're like, wait, what happened? What happened to the love and kindness I had? It's like, well, you scared that person off. You ran them off. You ran me off by being mean to me. So I'm not going to do that. And now they're just like broken up and busted up. Their heart is broken and they're completely destroyed. Completely destroyed. And that's like the worst damage you can do to someone without even trying or even wanting to. I don't want to hurt these people. I really don't. I want them to do better in life. I want them to face consequences for their BS, but I don't want to be mean to them or kick them down or hit them back, you know. I'm just trying to protect my energy. I'm just trying to, you know, have good self-esteem and self-respect and not rock with people who treat me weird. That's all it is. But with them, man, they get so broken. They get so broken. And that's why so many people with us are so guarded and are so like, won't even let us in and are blocking us out. That's why. Because they know how bad we could hurt them. They know we could hurt them so freaking bad. It's ridiculous without even meaning to, wanting to, trying to, or anything like that. Just by withdrawing. Just by withdrawing and just by seeing the manipulation in the games for what they really are. So yeah, y'all, you're empowered more than you think. You got way more power than you know. People need you more than you know, and you know, you will F them up bad when you leave, bottom line. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Much love, God bless. I will see you all next time.